Alright, hello, my name is Miguel Redfoot, and, I don't really understand what I'm really doing, to be honest. But I kind of had, like, uh, Holy Spirit kind of just make me make a video to, just, you know, share His Word, and, cause I thought, like, I saw something where it was like, imagine being in heaven, and Paul was in front of you, and it was like, oh, you're from the future, and I bet you shared the Lord and His Word to many with your many devices and phones like that. And I was like, I couldn't imagine just seeing Him and saying, no, I didn't. I didn't. I didn't use that. I didn't use that to share His message. I sat around doing nothing with my life. And I mean, and as a human, God put us on this earth to share His Word and His message and to listen to Him. And so, I don't know. I'm just gonna read this. I'm gonna read Job. I'm gonna read Job. I just turned to a random book and I was like, all right, this is what God wants me to read, then I'll read it. So, we'll start off with Job. So chapter 1. In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. One day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There was no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied. Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hand so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, very well then, everything he has in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger. Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. One day, when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabians, attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck in the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground and worshipped and said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoings. So that's the end of chapter 1. And before we go on to chapter 2, the story of Job is a very interesting one, and if you haven't heard it, then we'll go on and you'll hear it the more I read. But as through all the people in the Bible, other than Jesus Christ, Job is probably one of my favorite ones because even though he was one of he probably rarely sinned in life. I mean, he would probably sinned at least a little bit. I mean, he is a human, but he God let all this bad stuff happen to him, and he still goes and he's like, oh, I know what happened to me. I know this bad things happened to me, so I'm not good at speaking. But the Lord, I am nothing without the Lord, and if I don't have all these things, at least I have the Lord with me. The Lord can, as he said, the Lord can give and the Lord can take. So being a Christian is basically putting your pride to the side and quit being all about me. And so it's like, I am nothing without the Lord Jesus Christ. Or God. God and Jesus Christ, same thing. Sorry. But we'll go on to chapter 2. On another day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil, and he still maintains his integrity. Threw you inside of me against him to ruin him without any reason." "Skin for skin," Satan replied. "A man will give all he has for his own life. But now stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bone, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, he is in your hand, but you must spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." He replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. When Job's 3 friends, I don't know. I couldn't just make a name like John or Joseph, I don't know. Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamahite heard about all the troubles that had come upon him. They set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort him. When they saw him from a distance, they could hardly recognize him. They began to weep aloud, and they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him because they saw how great his suffering was. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. He said, "May the day of my birth perish, and the night that said a boy is conceived." May the day of my birth perish, and the night that said a boy is conceived. That day may it turn to darkness. May God above not care about it. May no light shine on it. May gloom and utter darkness claim it once more. May clouds settle over it. May blackness overwhelm it. That night may thick darkness seize it. May it not be included among the days of the year, nor be entered in any of the month. May that night be barren. May no shout of joy be heard in it. May those who curse days curse that day. Those who are ready to rouse Leviathan. May its morning star become dark. May it wait for daylight in vain, and not see the first rays of dawn. For it did not shut the doors of the womb on me to hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not perish at birth, and die as I came from the womb? Why were there knees to receive me, and breasts that I might be nurtured? Or nursed. Same thing. For now I would be lying down in peace. I would be asleep and at rest with kings and rulers of the earth, who built for themselves places now lying in ruins, with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or why was I not hidden away in the ground like a stubborn child, like an infant who never saw the light of day? There the wicked cease from turmoil, and there the weary are at rest. Captives also enjoy their ease. They no longer hear the slave drivers shout. The small and the great are there, and the slaves are freed from their owners. Why is light given to those in misery, and life to the bitter of soul, to those who long for death, death does not come, who search for it more than for hidden treasures, who are filled with gladness and rejoice when they reach the grave? Why is life given to a man whose way is hidden, whom God has hedged in? For sighing has become my daily food. My groans pour out like water. What I feared has come upon me. What I dreaded has happened to me. I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest but turmoil. All right. So what you see in chapter 3 is basically him being depressed. Just him like, oh, like woe is me. And I think everybody probably is gonna feel like that at one point in their life. I've never really. I'm only 17, so I had a whole lot of life yet. So, and it might never get to that point, but you are gonna feel sadness and despair in time because it's like, oh, why does it have to happen to me? And that's just a part of life. That's just a part of. That's just. That's just. That's just what it is. What it is. But luckily, God is there for us, and there's a reason He puts you through these storms and it puts you through these, and it's to test you in your faith and to see you come out stronger from it. But we'll go to chapter 4. We'll stop at chapter 5 for this video, and we'll just for the next video we'll do maybe 6 through 10 or 11 or so on. So but we're gonna be on chapter 4 right now. Then Eliphaz the Temanite replied, if someone ventures a word with you, will you be impatient? But who can keep from speaking? Think how you have instructed many, how you have strengthened feeble hands. Your words have supported those who stumbled. You have strengthened faltering knees, but now trouble comes to you, and you are discouraged. It strikes you, and you are dismayed. Should not your purity be your confidence, and your blameless ways your hope? Consider now who, being innocent, has ever perished. Where were the upright ever restored? As I have observed, those who plow evil, and those who sow trouble reap it. At the breath of God they perish, at the blast of his anger they are no more. The lion may roar and growl, yet the teeth of the great lions are broken. The lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. A word has secretly brought to me, my ears caught a whisper of it. Amid disquieting dreams in the night, when deep sleep falls on the people, fear and trembling seized me and made all my bones shake. A spirit glided past my face, and the hair on my body stood on end. It stopped, but I could not tell what it was. A form stood before my eyes, and I heard a hushed voice. Can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can even a strong man be more pure than his Maker? If God places no trust in his servants, if he changes his angels with error, how much more those who live in houses of clay, whose foundations are in dust, who are crushed more readily than a moth. Between dawn and dusk they are broken to pieces. Unnoticed they perish forever. Are not the cords of their tent pulled up so they die without wisdom? Chapter 5. Call if you will, but who will answer you? To which of the holy ones will you turn? Resentment kills the fool, and envy slays the simple. I myself have seen a fool taking root, but suddenly his house was cursed. His children are far from safety, crushed in court with the defender. The hungry consume his harvest, taking it even from among thorns, and the thirsty pant after his wealth. For hardship does not spring from the soil, nor does trouble sprout from the ground. Yet man is born to trouble as surely as sparks fly upward. But if I were you, I would appeal to God. I will lay my cause before him. He performed wonders that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted. He provides rain for the earth. He sends water on the countryside. The lowly he sets on high, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He thwarts the plans of the crafty, so that their hand achieve no success. He catches the wise in their craftiness, and the schemes of the wily are swept away. Darkness comes upon them in the daytime. At noon they grope as in the night. He saves the needy from the sword in their mouth. He saves them from the clutches of the powerful. Though the poor have hope, and injustice shuts his mouth. Blessed is the one whom God corrects. So do not despise the discipline of the Almighty, for he wounds, but he also binds up. He injures, but his hands also heal. From 6 calamities he will rescue you. In 7 no harm will touch you. In famine he will deliver you from death, and in battle from the stroke of the sword. You will be protected from the lash of the tongue, and need not fear when destruction comes. You will laugh at destruction and famine, and need not fear the wild animals. For you will have a covenant with the stones of the field, and the wild animals will be at peace with you. You will know that your tent is secure. You will take stock of your property and find nothing missing. You will know that your children will be many, and your descendants like the grass of earth. You will come to the grave in full vigor, like sheaves gathered in season. We have examined this, and it is true. So hear it and apply it to yourself. Okay, we'll stop it right there. But and for the next video we'll start on with chapter 6 of Job. But I don't know. I need to put my bookmark. Sorry. I don't know who will see the video, or if anybody will see the video, or if one person sees this video. But or the other videos to come that I'll make of this, just me reading the Bible and I don't know, preaching the word out today. But I pray that somebody hears this or sees this and meets some, if they are struggling with faith or have questions or something like that. And I just hope that they give their hearts to the Lord, and sorry, because I mean, in this world, especially as a teenager, myself included, that we forget what we're made for, and we do things that we're not supposed to, and it's just, we forget that the Lord put us on here for a reason, and that was to love Him and to love others, and not be selfish. And we just what's the word I'm looking for? We need to remember to follow in Jesus' teachings and hold it within our life, and with everything that comes our way, to remember Him and to remember that He can get you through anything. But to the people that see this video, thank you for watching, and hopefully you watch the other ones that I make. And if nobody watches, well, then at least I know that I'm doing what I think the Lord wants me to do. So thank you. And if anybody does watch the video, I pray that you give your heart to Jesus. And if you already have given your heart to Jesus, then well, I pray that you enjoy listening to it, and it helps grow your faith. But thank you.